Go Beaver! Away!
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to KritzKast. We have got week 2 already of the season 14 of ETF2L Premiership Highlander. And we've got two big names coming up against each other here on Product and Gullywash. In one corner, we have Feila eSports, who have been the informed team heading into the season, doing well, getting into the grand final of UGC Platinum. But unfortunately, they lost their week 1 game against SDCK. However, Lucrosa, the fresh kids on the block, the newly promoted side, ended up winning 4-2 against the mighty Tourette's Chess Club. So different fortunes for both sides. Who will be coming out on top today? We shall see. I'm CeeJaey, and joining me is our very own head admin, Stinson out, as well as Wiethoofd on the camera. Stinson, man, how are you doing?
Hello everybody, good evening. I'm excited to be here on KritzKast, the first time for me casting on this channel. The first time in a long time actually for me casting, and I'm happy to be here with you, CeeJaey. I'm sure this is gonna be a fun game to watch. As you said, Lucrosa being the new kids on the block, but they beat Chess Club last week, which was really surprising for most of people. I'm really looking forward to their performance tonight.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see how they fare this season, because they did win high last time around, but I think for a lot of people they're going to be kind of unknowns heading into the season. There's a lot of people who you might recognize if you've been following the TF2 scene here and there, but I think in general the name Lucrosa and a lot of the players probably just kind of slipped under the radar. So they definitely are the underdogs going into pretty much every game this season, I feel. For them to get a big scalp in week 1 against Chess Club is pretty huge. But this is a different kettle of fish. This is King of the Hill and also 5CP. And it's not Payload anymore. And Feila, I'm sure, are going to be hurting from that week when they had a very good performance. They did set some decent times. But, they didn't come away with any points. And I think they're going to be a team that's going to be wanting to be in the playoffs come the end of the season. But we can take a look at the rosters at the moment. I think the roster for Feila is fully here at the moment, I believe. So on Scout, we're going to have Crayon, probably more well known as a medic for Low Panda in Premiership 6s. Soldier, we have included middle, who was nominated as Soldier and debut of the season last time around. Pyro, we have Strano8. Demo is, of course, Joe. Poker, formerly of Kitty last season. They did get relegated, but he's back in Prem this season with Feila. He's going to be playing heavy. On Engineer is Zamperoni, another returning face on Feila. Medic is, of course, Layla. Sniper is going to be 3 times Prem winner Cloudy. And Spy is Mezzo. And, Lucrosa roster... we can talk about the Feila roster, because I think Lucrosa is still getting players in, but on that team, Stinson, on the Feila side, which names stand out for you as the big kind of game changers?
I gotta shout out my boy Cloudy here for the very first time, because he is gonna be a monster on Product and on Gullywash, two generally friendly sniper-friendly maps here. And I think the sniper battle in Prem is even more important than in any other case, because the snipers in Prem do hit insane shots, and if you get the sniper pick, there's so much space that you can just walk into and not worry about the sniper for a couple seconds. So yeah, I'm looking forward to the sniper battle between Cloudy and I assume Nate is smirking. So that's gonna be an interesting one, and I'm really interested in Poker's performance, because I have not followed last season, and he was nominated for Heavy of the Season a lot of the time, and I haven't actually heard about him. So this is the first time me watching him play, and I'm interested in how he's heavying against Lucrosa tonight.
I have to correct myself there. It's not Mezzo. It's somebody tagged as Mezzo +8, which is Layla. So Layla is still playing medic, but it does look like the Spy is going to be McNando. So I think he is. He's a sub, yeah. So I'm disappointed because Mezzo does put out huge numbers when he does play, and I think a map like Product is Spy's dream. But
yeah, that's true.
Yeah, Cloudy, you did mention Cloudy, obviously. My boy Cloudy did once put out 800 DPM on this map, so he is definitely going to be one to watch on Poker. Did you know, Stinson, that Poker, it was at some point, and I think he's still top 3, was ranked number 1 on Duo Q in Europe on PUBG.
No, I did not.
And did you know who his partner is?
No.
The one and only Catman. So,
well, that doesn't surprise me at all.
Yeah. A lot of similarities made between Catman and Poker. Poker has made it clear he does not want to be known as a budget Catman. He wants to make his name, and he has put some pretty strong performances. I do remember seeing him last season, and he was one of the players on Kitty I did think did pretty well. And there's a lot of players on the team who I think this is a very solid Feila team, and the fact that they've got a lot of players returning, I think is always a good sign, because it means you have that kind of synergy still there, and you build that up. But we can take a look at the Lucrosa side now. And for Lucrosa, they have Ekeland on Scout. He did once play for Stacked back in the day. I think we're talking about like Season 8, Season 9. Kazuki on Soldier. Pyro is going to be Yugo. Demo is Noz, or C-Noz, but it's pronounced Noz, I've been told. Heavy, apparently is going to be Justice. I don't think he's their main heavy. He's the main heavy for CCK, so he must be a Merc. I'm not sure who that... No, the main heavy, of course, is Kronk. So I'm not sure where Kronk is, because Kronk is the leader of the team, but it looks like Justice is playing heavy for them today. Engineer is going to be Rambasaur. Medic is Grabber. Everyone remembers the LOL Grabber memes from back in the day. Well, he's played plenty of Sixes Prem by now, and has, of course, played Highlander Prem, so looks like he is back in the game. Sniper is Nate, as you mentioned earlier, Stinson. He is merking instead of Andrew, who was probably the MVP against Chess Club last week. And finally on Spy is Demato, who's been around the block a few times as well for budget tokens and the like. And for that team, I mean, I did say they were kind of relatively unknown, Stinson, but there's a lot of names that we have seen playing in recent seasons. Who do you think is going to have to make a big impact to help Lucrosa over the line today?
Well, obviously Nate is going to be a big factor. Like I said, Sniper is really important, and Kazuki, actually. I'm looking forward to Kazuki because he is destroying every single double mix I've ever played in my entire life. Like, it doesn't even matter if it's 3 a.m., everybody just wants to have a good time. Kazuki tryhards, so he's there to win, he's there to compete, and he's actually a really good Sixes soldier as well. So he's going to be a factor on the flank for sure, and maybe we can catch 1 or 2 air shots on camera, because I'm sure there will be some.
Yeah, there was one that was clipped, I saw on Upward. From I think it was against Chess Club. Yes, obviously it was in week 1. And yeah, I played against Kazuki in Sixes at iSeries actually. Our teams faced each other, and he was of Ugandan Pizza Police last season. I think he's been with them a couple of seasons, and they got to the high playoffs last time around. So there are some new faces for this team. I mean, Ekeland, Kazuki. These are all kind of players. I think Grabber as well. These are all players who didn't play with the team that won high last time around. I don't think Demato did either. So there's a few changes, but after a week 1 performance like that, I'm sure they have plenty of motivation. But we are live now. Feila eSports will be in the red. In the blue is going to be Lucrosa. This is our first map. King of the Hill product, and Nods is actually there much faster than Joe. Lands some nice damage, but middle is going to get aggressive. Gets absolutely denied there by Justice, and Noz is going to get taken down by Cloudy, but Layla is down. A bomb from Kazuki, and he's going to absolutely rip apart there. McNando gets a double kill onto the Sniper and the Engineer, and there's a lot of frags going left, right and centre here. Stinson, but it does look like Feila have won that, just barely, but both meds dying pretty much exactly the same time there.
And I'm interested, by the way, about the Uber mechanics on these maps here, because if both medics die, usually one of them goes crits on King of the Hill. So let's see if Layla actually wants to tank the heals on Joe and let him carry this game.
Yeah, I mean it is actually Uber still from Layla, still on Uber, and Feila is known as a team that does like to use their crits no matter the map, and this is a crit friendly map. So we'll see if they decide to switch things up here. Grabber is actually on the KritzKast himself, so maybe taking Joe's tactics and using them against him. Then get some pressure. There's no point presence though. Poker goes down though to a headshot from Nate. So that's a big opening, but McNando with the butt knife is going to take down Noz, and no Demo is going to be a bit of a struggle to try and get some pressure here. They do have the man advantage, Stinson, but they just don't have anyone kind of pressuring forward and taking that space.
Yeah, both teams just looking behind that point here. This is so awkward on King of the Product sometimes that nobody really wants to step onto the point. But now Lucrosa is making their way in with the crits actually. Got it. C-Noz doesn't get anything though because the red Uber is popped right away and flashed around nicely by Layla. Domato is in position to make a play, but he gets cut out and dies.
Yeah, I mean, the idea was there, there wasn't the execution. The fact that Noz died meant you needed to use that crits onto somebody else, because you weren't gonna, you know, if you waited, by the time Demo's back up, the enemy team's gonna have Uber. But a nice opening here from Ekelund does take down Joe, so that's gonna be no Demo for the defending team. 10 seconds in the respawn key for him, so this is the opportunity for Lucrosa to get forward. McNando taking down Tomato there, but a spy on spy action. Grabber did die, but he's stuck with the crits and is actually building so quickly that he's actually probably going to overtake Layla here. She's still on Uber, and Poker is surely going to get cleaned up here. And wow, Layla might get caught out. She's so very weak. 18 HP. She's at 80%, but she manages to escape into spawn with Joe. And they get the point, Stinson, but they didn't manage to get the medic. So they're going to have to use their crits against an Uber, and we know how that works out.
Well, a nice cap though. I mean, it was a nice play by Kazuki bombing Cloudy right away, but we don't have any time to hear, oh my god, Middle gets destroyed by Nate, and there's the red Uber pop, you know, because they know they're on Crits. Crits doesn't do anything against Uber, so they just pop in their face, get the medic right away, because Grabba went down there. Nicely played by Feila, because they did have to get the medic there, otherwise they would have gotten Crits off the point.
Yeah, I mean, that was actually really well played by Feila, but they dropped 4 players for the point. And Nate there, he's on a 4 kill streak. He's doing pretty well so far. The Merc for Lucrosa, he takes down Poker. That's going to be a big opening. And because of the respawn times on Product, it does mean that Lucrosa are getting their bodies onto the point with pretty much no contestant. McNando has, oh, you know, he gets taken out there. He was right behind the medic. And Lucrosa there, again, they capture the point, but it costs them 5 players to do it, Stinson. And as we know, the respawn queue is going to be so long for them, I'm pretty sure Joe and Co are just going to walk forward and recapture this for free.
It's Joe and Co, TM. But yeah, both teams seem to commit so much to the cap that they lose players instantly, and then that and the faster respawns for the team that doesn't have the point, like, gives us this back and forth right now, but this is really entertaining, as CeeJaey get actually caught out by Stunner, who Kratos in the end, but I would like to see one of the teams actually hold a little bit forward at some point, because now you see the blue Uber comes in and they haven't even been touched until they are on the Uber. The Uber exchange is out. The red Uber should be much better here, although there's a lot of flashing going on. The blue Uber is over, and red team loses a lot of players here. Poker goes down, Crayon goes down as well.
This was a really good passage of play here from Lucrosa. I have to applaud it. There was a nice little moment there where Kazuki bombed middle, and they just kind of traded rockets in the air and then both cratered. It was a nice little suicide pact between the two soldiers. But yeah, I mean, it was really good. A really aggressive Uber from Lucrosa. They took the ground, they spread the damage around, and when the Uber was off, the cleanup was just on point. But at the moment, Cloudy is the man to start turning it up. 6 gave him, takes down Nos, takes down Rambazor, takes down Yugo as well, and that means Feila just going to walk onto the point. Overtime it is, and they're just going to cap it to make it 1-0. So Lucrosa there, such a great passage of play. Zamperoni was the only person defending the point for a while. They were just kind of cleaning up the frags. Crayon and Middle just kind of doing the same for Feila, and it just seems to be a little bit more effective for them right now, Simpson.
Yeah, and already the snipers here being on the top of the score, but as the second mid rolls on, both demos there at the same time. Now the huge bomb from Middle behind, trying to get the sniper, but he's not on the point. The scout gets cut out now, and Cloudy actually gets a nice headshot on Ekelund. Middle takes down Nate, so no sniper for the blue team. And no one really committing to the point yet, CeeJaey.
No, but Middle has just absolutely won this mid fight for Feila. He's still alive. He's just spamming them from behind, just being a massive irritant. He jumped all the way behind, and actually it does look like they're losing it. But he can down a rocket to Grabber. Can he get the second one? Grabber with the surf. Oh, the final rocket does take down the medic. Middle finally dies to justice, but Grabber did so well there just to stay alive a little bit longer. Wasn't good enough. But Middle jumped in from behind. Nate was just totally out of that mid fight. He just wasn't there. McNando cloaked across the point, landed some damage on him as well, and basically Nate got sandwiched between a spy and a soldier, and he just died, and nobody cleaned up that soldier behind, which meant Lucrosa were constantly pestered. So it does mean they capture the point, they win the mid fight, but they have a mid disadvantage. We see this Uber coming in here from Feila. It's used extremely early on. Crayon and Joe getting a lot of it, but there's no one really for them to kill. Nos does go down, and later goes down to a backstep from Tomato.
This Uber was a complete disaster, CeeJaey. Nobody was home for Lucrosa, and Feila just kind of used it, assuming people would be on point, but there was nobody there. Actually nobody. And then Layla dies in the end by a big stab from Tomato as well. That could have been played much, much better, because now Layla is down, Grabber is 60% ready, and this is surely going to be a retake.
Yeah, they do bleed a few players, but their respawns are going to be fast. It doesn't really matter. The fact that Grabber survived is so huge. Mignando is lurking, but Rambosaur is on spy checking duty. He doesn't want anyone to do it. And there we go, Nate getting revenge onto Cloudy. That's going to huge opening. Grabber's not going to have to worry about getting headshot here. He can take his team in with this Uber advantage. Joe is so weak. He actually gets finished off there by Nate. The Uber is used. I'm not sure if it was actually needed to. I think Grabber maybe got forced. Stronoe is above. He might actually be able to catch out the medic here. Oh no, Nate is the man to save the day again. He's on a 3 kill streak. Takes down that Pyro. Grabber is going to get out. Nice, safe and sound. Lucrosa in control of the point stints and I dare say in control of the round so far.
Yeah, I think Grabber just took some spam there and then saw the demo man staring in his eyes, and he dropped down to 90 HP, and we all know a pill does 100, so he didn't want to take the chance and just capped this point off here, which gives the Layla a 70% advantage now, and red team just floods the point right now, catching out the demo man. Xenos is down, so a lot of damage denied, and this is an easy retake now. The demo man is down, but Tomato gets Joe and Layla.
That's like I don't know. That's like winning the lottery and getting the bonus ball as well. You take down Layla and you take down Joe. That's just that's the meaty picks there.
Couple down.
Yeah, the power couple down, and surely Lucrosa are going to take this advantage and walk forward here. They have 100% Uber in the bank. Layla is building with Joe, but she has to be forced off there by the spam. She's still on Medigun, and a lot of people getting cleaned up here. Have to be careful that the rest of them don't. The Uber is used. Poker is going to get finished off. Layla is safe in spawn. She managed to escape there, but the same can't be said for the rest of her team. And actually, to be fair, Feila ahead of the time, only by a few seconds, and they're probably going to lose this lead. But despite how one-sided it's looked at the moment, it just seems Feila are able to dry push these stints, and then they're going to try this again now.
Yeah, that seemed to be a little bit better at executing pushes in general. Now they're gonna try push again, and Lucrosa doesn't have to say anything here. And Yugo goes down to stickies. Simple sticky spam, completely caught out. You're right behind the point on the right side, where you can't actually escape, you can't surf anywhere. So bad positioning here from Yugo, but Kazuki gets Layla. The big bomb in there, CeeJaey. Middle and Kazuki are just doing the same thing. They're just jumping, skipping off that rock and just landing on someone and do a ton of damage. Layla is the recipient. That time Middle though goes round the house. Bit of hide and seek going on right now. He's actually still alive, but Kazuki takes him down. And Middle's not able to get a pick there, but Mignando gets the pick instead. Grabber takes him down. I don't know how he survived for so long there to get the backstab. And once again, Lucrosa just get melted here. Cloudy's on a 6 kill streak. Finally finished there by Nate, but it seems at the moment that Lucrosa are doing really well at these set plays. They're getting the picks onto Layla, they're getting the Ubers, and they're walking forward and they're winning those fights, right? But the thing is about Feila is they don't care. They don't give a monkeys. They're just going to walk forward and they're going to frag you. And Lucrosa are playing really passive because of that, and it's just playing into Feila's hands. They're just walking forward, taking that space and winning the DM battle. And Lucrosa, I feel, when they're in control of the point, need to be a little bit more aggressive. But they got 15 seconds on the clock here to deal with that. Kazuki's in for a bomb again, but Poke takes him down. But Cloudy gets backstabbed by Tomato. That should be the opening for Lucrosa to walk forward. Noz is going to get finished off by Zamperoni, who gets a 2k. There's a lot of frags going all over the place, but it does look to be in the favour of Feila. And there is time on the point. But I think that's it. Could have been a huge air shot by Middle there, but he didn't quite get grab. Another red Uber is on point, and that's gonna be 2-0 for Feila here. But yeah, the way the soldiers plays, CeeJaey, these two soldiers, it reminds me of the good old times where you played Cut Warm Tick, and both soldiers would just run back as bazooka and jump in all the time. They literally are on suicide watch all the time. Just trying to get behind them, just trying to get a sniper, maybe someone to turn around, maybe even 2 people as we go on to the third mid. And Xenos is a little bit faster here, gets nice sticky spam, but Middle already behind the team, as well as Kazuki, but he gets denied, so Middle is behind. That should be a Q here to push. Grabber goes down to nice fight by Joe, and Mignando gets Nate. So this is gonna be a mid fight won by Feila.
Yeah, those iron bomber pipes, they're so annoying to deal with because of the fact that they stay on the ground, that it's very hard to see them if you're holding in a passive position, and once they're on the ground they're still going to do damage. But we do see, in comes Kazuki. You can't get Layla. Zamperoni down to 5 HP, being the meat shield for his medic there, diving in the way, but Layla is going to have 100% ready. Grabber only at 20. And Lucrosa here really need to do something. They need to figure something out. They are 2-0 down. This is the final round. If Feila win this, they're going to take the map and take the 3 points available. And they're in control. And this is when you need the Kazukis. This is when you need the Nates. This is when you need the Tomatoes to make a big play. Go in for the pick. Get something done. You know, make that opening for your team to push in. Tomato there gets peed on by Cloudy. And has a nice knife stuck into his face. Kazuki goes in for the bomb. Lands a rocket onto Labor. He gets finished off by Poker. He's very aware. McNando is going to swoop in there and take down Justice. And this is just kind of etching off time here, Stinson, for Feila. They're already a minute chalked off the time.
Honestly, I think the difference right now is that Poker is just standing on the cliff, knowing that Kazuki has this one way to dump his medic. And Justice kind of roams around with the combo, maybe being a merc, you know, not really knowing the how to push and how to position here. But Poker's just being a boss right now. He is on Kazuki watch 24/7. Grabber drops to a sticky trap from Joe. This is heartbreaking.
I mean, you're a medic main, I'm a medic main. It's never nice to see that +2. There are some frags coming down. Joe did go down there to Noz. He just kind of walked forward. But we just see kind of, what I like to say is like the loose frags. You see McNando there get a 3k. Just while everyone's distracted and trying to frag, Spy comes in from behind, gets 2 backstabs and pistols someone else down. You know, that's just kind of, that can be denied, but because everyone's concentrating on something else, that opening is available to the Spy. McNando takes full advantage of it. Layla, still 100%, just chilling. She's just on the dispenser thinking, okay, I'm just going to stay here for another minute. And my team's won the game, but Lucrosa maybe getting a little bit desperate here now. They're on the medigun, they're not switching things up. Tomato gets a backstab onto Crayon. But Noz goes down again to Joe. Joe just really aggressive with his spam, just not allowing anyone. And the Uber comes in, Stinson, and Joe's not alive. So it's going to be a Strono, 8 and Poker Uber, and can't really chase with those classes.
I love this so much. Finally someone on the Lucrosa said, screw this, I'm just gonna be on the point. And because Layla is holding behind the point, they kind of have to Uber into the point to actually contest it. And now the Uber advantage is negated and Grabber has 80% if he doesn't drop anymore. This can be a comeback, but Cloudy's on the 8k right now, completely denying Kazuki. And actually, despite not having Uber, the Feila gets back point here.
Yeah, Uber's used here by Lucrosa, but there's no one really to kind of kill. Justice is aggressive. He might get backstabbed here by McNado. He's going to come in. He does get the frag. Cloudy takes down Grabber. He's on a 10k. You can't allow players to go on double-figure kill streaks. It's not respectful. Someone stop this man. He's too good. And Layla does have her Uber. She's 100%. 5 seconds left on the clock. Ekelund here getting desperate with Hugo, trying to get something down. Tomato finally does take down the sniper, but the Uber is used by Layla on the point. She's just going to flash her players and keep them forward, denying anyone getting onto the point and trying to cap that up. And it's going to be a clean, crisp 3-0 for Feila on this first map. And that is definitely setting the tone for this game, Stinson. I mean, you never really want to finish a round, or finish a map, I should say, without getting a round on the board. I mean, some of the rounds were close, but Lucrosa have got to be hurting after that. I mean, they've got to be sat there thinking, ouch. Like, Cloudy just pounded us, and the rest of the players just fragged, and it's difficult to come back from that. It's a different map, but wow, Feila looking very strong.
Yeah, they did, and, you know, I don't want to pat myself on the shoulders, but Cloudy is 32-10. 32 kills, 10 deaths, and 584 DPM. That's nuts. Like, sniper is so important, and you see that if your team can get you a little bit more space than the other team, a sniper can really jump into these sidelines and just deny you from actually getting to the point or anywhere near the classes that you have to frag. Joe also with a 650 DPM as always carrying. So these two players actually outclassed their opposition. Xenos with 4 kills, 15 deaths, didn't have any impact on the game.
Yeah, I mean, when you consider the two demos, Joe got almost double the DPM of Noz. I just felt that Noz was dying a lot on the pushes, and not necessarily his fault. Maybe needed a little bit more protection from the rest of his team. Sometimes it's very difficult for you to deal with stuff as a demo. When it's in your face, you need that support from a player near you. It's actually interesting to see. I mean, we talk about Cloudy, 32 kills in 40 minutes is pretty insane stats. But Nate and Ekelund there, the next two highest fraggers, they're the only other players in the server to get over 20 kills. Nate got 22, and Ekelund, scout for Lucrosa, got 21. So Ekelund going 21 for 9, that's really good stats for a scout, especially considering he was on the losing team. So, not to point fingers, but you've got to look at the rest of the team and think those guys are getting frags. Where was the deficit? Where were they losing the engagements? And like I said, I just think if your scout and your sniper are doing so well on a Koth map, like you'd expect them to do, and they're actually, Nate, okay, 10 kills behind Cloudy, but Ekelund getting a lot of frags compared to Crayon. If the rest of the players had been a bit more aggressive when they were holding the point, then they could have been more involved in the frags and, rather than losing payables, because there was over 10,000 damage difference between the two teams, and I just think Feila had a lot more space to play with, and that has to be, some of the credit has to go to Middle for that, for just jumping behind all the time and just kind of drawing players back. And if you're going to get drawn back by the soldier, then you're just kind of baiting the rest of your team. So yeah, I mean, different game mode now, but who do you think needs to step it up for Lucrosa on Gullywash?
I think definitely Xenos. The combo play on product seemed kind of disjointed. You had like Justice as a mirror coming in, but Xenos died 15 times as opposed to 9 times from Joe. He sometimes kind of like wanted to push, but he didn't have any backup, he didn't have any heals, and he just like fragged by like a random pyro staring at him. So I'm not sure if that's something they can fix right now, but Xenos has to have a better impact, has to stay alive, has to actually get frags out, because that was the big reason, or one of the two big reasons they actually won against Chestlop last week.
Yeah, and you did mention it during the actual map as well. The missing of Kronk, who is the team leader. I'm not sure if he main calls or whether it's not who main calls.
I have no idea.
But it must kind of affect you. I mean, Nate stepping in for Andrew, I guess a sniper isn't really involved much in calls. It isn't really involved much in kind of the gameplay. You just kind of click on people's heads. But a heavy is a combo-centric player. Justice is an amazing player. Very, very good heavy. But you do have to wonder whether the synergy is a little bit off there. But we're going to take a quick break in between maps just for refreshments and relief. We will be back for map number 2, which is going to be Gullywash between Feila and Lucrosa.
I actually almost forgot that we're going to take a break.
Oh, and we are back. Welcome back to KritzKast. We have one more map to go. The action's not over yet. For those of you who missed out on the first map, we did play King of the Hill product between Feila eSports and Lucrosa. Feila eSports showing some dominance, picking up their first points of the season and winning the map 3-0. We are on to 5 CP now, though. This is a win difference of 5 for those of you who've been watching UGC over the previous months. It's not first to 5, it is one half. Win difference of 5. And we do see Feila eSports still in the red. Lucrosa still in the blue. 3 points already to Feila, but there are 3 points up for Grab Stinson. And let me know what you see on this mid fight.
I see that Feila is much faster on the high ground here than Lucrosa. KritzKast getting completely denied by the mini sentry and the heavy, and this is a no contest mid fight. I'm not sure if they kind of lost the ability to walk to mid, but Feila's already in second here, completely shutting down Lucrosa from going on out of the gate, and now people are gonna try to get onto this riverside here, but yeah, there's a sniper and Nate gets taken out, so back up to last blue team.
That was just such good aggression from middle, just straight away from the mid fight. Just got in there, jumped into Noz's face, killed him without your demo. You know, in 6s it's pretty much you back out straight away, and in Highlander you can kind of work your way in, but they just didn't have any ground whatsoever. And they got so aggressive on second that they were able to push them all the way back to last. And you can see they're already pressuring mid. Pressuring the last point. Justice going down there to Poker. There are some frags though. Strono, Cloudy and Poker all getting killed here, so maybe an opportunity for Lucrosa to probe their way out of last, see if they can get anything done. Middle jumps in and he forces Grabber. How is that allowed to happen?
Well, I gotta call out Grabber here though. He just stood in the river and
it's just
he just stood in the river, yeah, and they're like, I mean, middle was allowed to walk in, but I'm not sure if Grabber should have been there. So yeah, anyways, blue Uber has been popped. Layla doesn't have any advantage though.
No, she did get forced as well. And oh, the headshot from Cloudy! Oh, Cloudy takes down Grabber, so there is going to be an advantage now as long as Layla does not die. She is at 50% right now and just needs to build up that, and a second bite at the apple, or whatever the phrase is, for Feila to try and get something done here. They had an advantage, and they see if they can get. It's up to Lucrosa now. They need to see if they can get somebody into that river area, jump up there, and get a force onto Layla again. Otherwise, they're going to be dealing with an Uber push into last. They have got all of their players alive. There's only mini sentries from Rambasaur. Normally, we see a last hold, maybe a level 3 getting thrown up there. We'll have to see what happens. Layla just approaching that 100% now. It's just ticking over. Cloudy in river, trying to see if he can get a pick before the exchange comes. But Grabber at 50% now. So, oh no, the Uber comes in. Cloudy gets taken down by Nate. Before the Uber even happens, they're focusing the point, but Strono 8 and Zamperoni both going down. Joe putting out a lot of damage, and there's only 4 players alive for each team. Joe is 2 HP. Actually, Grabber is on the point against McNando. Middle is going to come in, and I think that's going to be a failure. Cap Tomato's in, and it comes. Oh, KritzKast jumps the point, takes down Layla, but isn't able to stop the Cap Stinson. And what did you see happen there?
I gotta say, this was probably the best thing that they did this round. It was a really good defense here. I just saw that they got baited onto the point, and then it's really easy to get the spam there because you have to block it, and they just played the man advantage there. They got 2 entry frags into the last point, and then they had 2 more to cap the point at the end. But this is mid-fight number 2 here. Both soldiers jumping in. KritzKast again is denied. Cloudy gets rammed, so right away Tomato goes down. Nate gets backstabbed, so no sniper. And now Grabber is in a bit of a pickle here because the Scud's already on him. But there comes middle, cleaning up the frags. Here go Grabber down. This is almost a full wipe, CeeJaey.
The thing with the Lucrosa push there was that you have to be all in there. You have to go balls to the wall and just commit. Because of the position they decided to push from, they got very, very passive. They kind of were like, oh, I'm not sure if I want to keep doing this. You need to go all the way in, because when the enemy team goes all the way in, then you're just going to get screwed. And we saw Noz there die very late on, so his spawn has been staggered. But Layla goes down! That is a drop. KritzKast making the plays. And once again, we see Lucrosa on last, but this time they have an Uber advantage. They can make something happen and try and push out here. KritzKast needing to be thanked. Cloudy is prowling around with Joe in the lobby, seeing if he can get something done here. But Lucrosa not out just yet.
Second point goes down for Feila though, and pushing out of Gullywash last is so hard. So this Uber disadvantage might not even matter, because you have to get the Uber into their faces, and they can just be outside of lobby, be on the second point. The medic can be so safe here, and the blue team has to pop really early. But let's see if Grabber decides to go. I imagine he wants to go, because why not? You know, they don't have anything to lose. You don't want to be in your last point waiting for the inevitability to happen. So Grabber hits 100 right now, and I'm interested what the play call is going to be here.
Strenaway goes down though. Big pick from Nate, actually. I mean, it's just a pyro, but that's actually huge because it does mean there's not going to be any denial. Joe's in river, and he's just, takes down Hugo, and that's going to be a bit of a pick, the amount of damage. But Zamperoni, he's just walking in on grab. Noz there, 2 kills, takes down Cloudy, and Zampoker is on top of the river as well. He's going to have a 1v1 versus Domato. Kazuki is going to try and help here, get some assists.
They're wrapping around them, right?
Yeah, they tried to wrap around, but they lost too many players. They kind of got not sandwiched, they just got separated, and Lucrosa just ploughed through the middle. So Layla didn't die, but the rest of her team did. Joe and Poker are down for another 5 seconds, so that means Lucrosa are going to get this midpoint for free. And they probably might actually get close to an Uber Stinson before Feila decide to push, although they are lurking in big door with Cloudy right now.
I really like Lucrosa here. No hesitation to get into mid, but also no hesitation for Feila. The red Uber is popped right away, maybe a little bit early, but they want to make sure nobody is around, and Lucrosa wisely backs off here. This is gonna be a recap of mid-fight, and then midpoint, and now we will have maybe this Sixes-esque back and forth of midpoint where someone uses the Uber and then the other team just surrenders the point. This is gonna go on until one team makes one big mistake, and I think right now it's up to the assassination classes like Cloudy and Spies and the snipers in this game to make a big play here. As the blue scout comes in and gets Cloudy right away.
I really like this from Lucrosa. They timed that perfectly. They just backed out. They wisely got out. Now they need to. This is what you're talking about, where the mistakes happen. They've managed to go in there and get stuff done. But now that are uber disadvantaged, they must realize this. And here we go. Failure in there. Grabber takes so much damage and gets taken out. That's the first mistake we've seen. Joe is still on the chase. Can he take down any more there? Justice is there. He's trying to eat a sandwich. He gets the ham. Was wanting some ham in between his bread there, Stinson, but he ended up getting a ham to the face and dying. Hugo does take down Joe though, so that's probably going to be something of a pick. Lucrosa didn't even manage to capture the middle point during their push there, so this is all just fragging right now. Everyone's just running around and DMing. Domato takes down Cloudy, but Feila are going to capture this second point. And it's exactly like you said, Stinson. It's all about who makes the first mistake. Lucrosa did a perfect job of backing out at the right time, re-pushing on the dot of Uber. They didn't manage to take down Layla. They didn't manage to take down any huge classes, but they got some frags. They got control of the midpoint. They just needed to cap, play passive, make sure they forced Layla, and back out again, but they didn't. And in the end, they lost too many players. They find themselves on last again and again with an Uber disadvantage.
Yeah, exactly. At this point of play, on this level of play, it's like if you just misposition as a medic once, you're gonna get cut out. As the red Uber comes in here, Layla pops onto Joe and the scout right away. Grabber's getting caught out, dies instantly. Hugo goes down. So many frags in the favor of Fader, and this is surely gonna be a last cap here. Justice trying his best on the point, being the happy weapons guy. But this is the second round in favor of Fader 2-0 right now, CeeJaey.
Yeah, I mean, the score doesn't say it all, but I do think there's just a bit of naivety there from Lucrosa. They are over disadvantage, but they got 2 big picks. They took down the heavy and they took down the pyro, I think it was, Streno 8 and Poker. And that's actually pretty good, killing those players before they push in onto last. But the rest of the players were just too close and got caught out. But we are onto a new mid-fight here. Crayon getting really aggressive. It's going to be Ekelund versus Crayon here. Crayon backs away wisely, gets some HP to recontest for another day. Only casualties so far have been the sentry guns, but Noz goes down there to Joe. Cloudy gets backstabbed by Domato, getting a lot of focus this time. And actually, Poker goes down, and then Nate rings off a headshot onto Layla. No medic for Feila. Grabber is so weak, and then he gets taken down by middle. Huge bomb from him. Takes down 2. Domato is going to finish off Joe, and it does look like Lucrosa will probably win this mid-fight? Question mark? No, they don't.
I have no idea.
I just Crayon, who was the most aggressive at the start, and then just kind of backed off, is the last person to survive and clean up the mid-fight.
What was interesting to me was that both soldiers who were super aggressive up until this point didn't jump like until really at the very end. I just saw Joe get a nice air shot onto Kazuki, I guess. Yeah, and well, and then nobody was up. but Feila won the point. I'm not sure if their people just died earlier, that's why they had faster spawns, but it always seems like if there's a little bit of an opening, if it just comes down to walking forward, just like on Product, that Feila is the one team to move first, and then they are there first, and Lucrosa always backs out. So yeah, this is like the presence they have as a, I guess, veteran Premiership team. As Tomato gets 2 stabs on Cloudy, Joe, Sabroni goes down to Kazuki, and Crayon goes down. So this is 5 frags in favor of Lucrosa. Move forward, guys.
Yeah, this is the time. You got this. You know, you're 2-0 down. You can't be playing it safe anymore. You need to start taking the risks, start taking the advantages. Poker is really weak here. Surely he's going to get finished off. Yeah, he does there. Justice with the minigun. And you know, it was middle there, I think, on the flank. Got 2 kills. And then the rest of Lucrosa just decided, okay, we're going to do the same. And picked up 5 big picks. So the only player down for them at the moment is Nate. So they may be reluctant to try to push into a sniper here. Cloudy is watching the doorway, but they are starting to walk forward. They're all peed on though. Justice, wow, down to 17 HP. But Joe gets dropped! Joe gets dropped from the Uber. Noz takes him down. Strano8 is instead going to get a lot of this Uber. Does manage to take down Justice, but Simpson, this may be an opening for them to walk through.
Yeah, they agree with you. They're walking in here right now. Poker is relatively low here, and they have the scout battle on top, but Poker actually disrupts that, and you know, it looked so good. It looked like they could re-push here, soft push, but now they're just 3 up, and they surely have to surrender this midpoint here.
Yeah, sometimes you look at something and you think, how did we get here? Where they looked in such a good position, and now they're backing off onto their second. But it is equally Ubers, so it's not kind of panic stations just at the moment. We still have 18 minutes left in the game, which is a hell of a lot of time. So it's not as if you have to kind of start, you know, doing crazy things. Don't have to start,
It's just saying that a team that is clearly inferior, at this point we can say the Cross is inferior to the other team, but sometimes it's like when the inferior team in a game, you know, you don't have that many chances, and you see an opening, and you kind of like panic. You panic in the good sense that you're too excited that this is the opening, this is the chance, and then you forget the basics. You forget to, you know, watch behind you. You forget to watch your flanks, and then there's like 1 or 2 players. And at this level of play, it just needs 1 or 2 players to disrupt your push altogether, and then you know you just kind of die like flies. So I think that's what happened there. That they got overzealous with themselves. Now, as you said though, the Ubers are being equal. Both teams are up. 18 players are looking for frags here. Both snipers kind of peeking the choke. Cloudy versus Nate. It's gonna be an interesting battle.
Yeah, I mean, there's no Razorback being used by either player. I guess they want those buffs and they want to contest here. Cloudy actually taking a lot of damage. Nate is still fully buffed here, so he can get some stuff. But Magnando has crossed. I think he's been spotted. Yeah, he's being shot at here by Justice. So they do. Oh no! So actually, Tomato goes in behind and takes down middle. So maybe that's an opening on the flank for him to maybe work some more space for his team. But yeah, we do see this just sniper battle of both snipers getting buffed here and just trying to shoot each other. Normally we'd see it with Razorbacks, but with no Razorbacks being used by either sniper, it does give the opportunity for some backstabs. But Cloudy is the one to get the first pick. Takes down Noz. There's no Demo Man, and Feila are already walking in it. Look how deep Joe is. He's so far in. No one's actually supporting him that well, but they just seem to be scared here, Lucrosa. I mean, in that instance, that's a pick for me. Like, Joe's so far forward, you can go for him, but they just seemed a little bit scared there without Noz to help them. They've just given up this second point off of that demo pick, so now they're back on last.
What happened there was like Domatic got the flanks on middle, and as you said, Lucrosa did the right thing, I think. They tried to abuse that flank advantage, but as soon as Siemens peeked into mid, Cloudy just snapped his head, and then because you were pushing big throws, the choke is completely free, your demo is down, and yeah, you can just walk in because there's no entry damage here onto the Feila team. So that was really well played from Feila, realizing there's no demo and the whole combo is on big throws. Let's just rush choke and cut them off, and that's what happened here. So we are back on this last point here. The good old red team tries to push in here. Oh, Joe actually goes really low into last point, and blue is trying to get into the last.
Yeah, Cloudy took down Nate there, so he does have the freedom. He walks in and he takes down Grabber there with the hero shot from balcony. There has been a conch, I think, or a battalion, some sort of horn has been used, but the Uber is in from Feila. They're just focusing the point, and actually Strono 8 just stands on the point and caps it by himself. Just air blasts a couple of people away from him to say, hey, no, this is my point. And he's going to make it 3-0, and that's the thing, when you're on your last, you know, the sniper can make a hero play like that and just give a huge opening for your team, and Feila take full advantage of it once again, making it 3-0. Just under half the match to go. Lucrosa still well within a chance here. You know, they can.
I mean,
they need to turn it up.
Was ridiculous, though. I saw it on stream, so yeah, holy moly! I mean, this is not defendable. Sometimes a player just makes a big play and then you win the round. As the next mid fight is going on, Cloudy goes down though. The nice focus. Nate is down as well. No snipers on the midpoint, but Feila again has the superior positioning here. And from that, Poker is just free to spam his minigun. Joe is already in the enemy lobby just trying to frag people. Nobody gets set up anywhere near him, and yeah, later survives as well. So 100% Uber coming in here. This, I don't know, this looks to me like this is me in the coffin.
Yeah, I mean, Joe just chased so hard there, managed to take down Grabber, so you know, the Uber advantage is ready. They're in lobby, they're in river, they're in last already. Crayon chasing people into the spawn. Tomato does take down Poker, so there's not going to be any heavy. They're actually a Dragon's Fury from Hugo. It's going to take down Zamperoni, and in the end, they managed to hold on to the point. Just they kited the Uber and focused the frags, which seemed to go pretty well for them. So 4 players left alive for Feila here. But middle is going to pick up 2 as they try to push out from lobby. Kazuki is getting aggressive. Cloudy's mostly alone on second. He's got McNando for company. But still, Lucrosa, I mean, this is the kind of opportunity where you say, okay, we need to walk forward. We need to get back into this. And Noz takes down Strono 8, so surely that's going to be some sort of catalyst for Lucrosa to say, okay, let's just start pressing W a bit more and just get really aggressive, because 3-0 down, we've got to do something. We've got nothing to lose right now.
Yeah, the buff banner, the contra was actually gets popped. Kazuki jumps into the choke point, gets Cloudy and Layla, most importantly. Zamperoni falls, Poker gets backstabbed by Domain. There's so many frags going Lucrosa's way here, but the second point is not being kept, so they're always open for a backup, but now players are flooding in. So big bomb from Kazuki, heads up play, bombing in with a contra that gives you a speed buff, and just like completely surprising Layla and choke here.
Yeah, I mean, Feila have had really good positioning so far, and they just got totally caught off guard there. And Lucrosa could actually start to roll this on point to point. Layla is on second with her team, but she's only at 25%. They're deciding to try and defend this point really passively up top. So Lucrosa should be able to get second for free here, or they might have to use... Stickies are just getting air blasted away there. Grabber has to be careful. Justice on the sticky cleanup. Uber is used.
The back cap
Poker.
is going on though.
Oh wow, yeah, there is a back cap on middle. It was actually middle on middle. He's going to jump into lobby here, and there's not really any players kind of making any plays right now. Noz goes down, but in comes Kazuki and he takes down Layla. Oh, she was only about 60-70%. But that is a med pick, and that is an opening Stinson. 4 players left alive for Feila. Lucrosa could push this now, or they could just wait and decide until they get their Uber advantage and just roll this into last. But it looks like they're trying to commit right now. 2 players left alive, they're focusing the point. Hugo is there with the Dragon's Fury. He's fragging, and he is going to help his team claw around back. 3-1 Stinson. Are Lucrosa about to come back here?
I didn't want to be rude to you, but I was almost gonna just interrupt you here and say, it's now or never, guys. Like, either you just walk forward without Uber now, or you're never gonna cap a last point here. And they did. So yeah, we got ourselves a game here, CeeJaey. It's 3-1, and they have a good 11 minutes. So, you know, this is definitely doable if they win this mid fight here. Middle already on the high ground though. Kazuki tries to mirror him, gets taken out. Joe goes down though. So that's a nice pick, but you know, there's nobody really on the high ground.
Oh, no! Oh my word! Lucrosa are doing it! What is going on? Zamperoni is doing a lad's job here and just capping the point by himself. So technically, Feila win the mid fight. But I think, like, morally and number-wise, Lucrosa win that. I mean, Kazuki just did exactly what Middle did on the first mid fight. Bombs it. Oh, Middle gets 2 frags. So he's on a 4k. He's killed pretty much half the team right now. Kazuki's going to challenge him any second now. He's got a buff. yeah, Kazuki just bombed in straight onto Joe, killed Joe. Tomato took down Poker. That's your combo dead, and then Noz just goes in and takes down Layla. So that's your entire combo killed. Lucrosa have an uber advantage here. They need to use this. Like you said, it's now or never. And if this push goes well, since then they could will be into this. But like I said, it's squeaky bum time. This is where mistakes can mean a lot.
The blue Uber comes in through Victor's here. Ekelund is being charged, tries to get as many frags as he can, but still does a nice job protecting him. And actually there's a back cap going on. Middle and Crayon, the flank of Feila here just being a nuisance. Middle actually in the enemy lobby, probably gonna get a frag or two. Cloudy gets Tomato here. Cloudy on a 6k as well. And this Uber has been a waste, and this is what he said, this mid-fight should have gone into the Lucrosa's favor, but it didn't, because Semperini just stood on point. Now they wasted the Uber, now red team is jumping in here, the second point is completely for free, and they have 100% Uber. The grabber is probably gonna get his by the time they get to last, but this is a sequence of play where we kinda had to see the Lucrosa win the mid at some point, and they didn't.
Yeah, I mean, they had the Uber advantage. They needed to go in there, and we do actually see Poker taking a lot of the Uber just to get into Secret, and he's really close to the point now, and actually he's just going to focus the point by himself. He's there with Justice, he takes down Justice, and in the end it's just a point play. They go in from main, and they get enough people on the point without it getting blocked. Now it's going to be 4-1 to Feila now, and with 8 minutes to go, it's still doable. It's more than doable. It takes, about a minute, 90 seconds to get around, but Lucrosa need to start going full aggro, like, just full pasta right now. They just need to put a rock on the W key and just hope that they land every shot.
Yeah, I see gets a quick frag on Strono here, and Poker goes down to a nice bomb. Joe actually a double kill here for Kazuki, jumping in right in A. Nate goes down, but please get into the high ground now, Lucrosa. Walk into the midpoint and cap it, thank you.
Layla survives. She's already out onto last. With Crayon for company. Cloudy survived also, got all the way back. So it is going to be equal Ubers. Lucrosa should be able to get second off of this. Like, Feila aren't in a position to defend this whatsoever. Zamperoni's actually, he's on big door. Is he going for a back cap? He's going to fight Tomato, which is, I don't know why I'm watching this. I should be watching the combo. But yes, it is equal Ubers, essentially. Grab only about 5% behind. He's going to get it any second now. So what do? Do you just go in and trade and hope for the best, or do you send Kazuki in for a bomb?
Well, I mean, I know Zamperoni's down, so there's no, like, level 3 or something. But I was thinking is that Feila maybe had the call, okay, let's just turtle here on last point. We are 3 rounds up, we just have to deny them from coming in. As now Hugo and Justice make their way into the river, the Uber comes in on Demo and Soldier. Not getting a lot of frags though. As soon as gets Cloudy, Hugo dies instantly. Justice gets caught out on the point, so I think the plan was to kind of have a heavy and the pyro on the point, kind of reflecting people, but they didn't get the entry frags, and then they just cleaned up, and yeah, everybody's down except for the pick classes and Ramsar here, so expect a push out here from red team, and yeah, they do. It's gonna be a recap really soon.
Yeah, Hugo and Justice there, I would argue, almost got baited. Like, they went onto the point, they got a lot of damage onto Poker. It forced Layla to go towards the point and actually kind of focus the point, or focus Poker to make sure he did. Oh, but Strono takes down Grabber. Heartbreaking for Lucrosa right now. It looks like Feila are just going to roll this onto mid now. Justice very weak. He gets finished off by Crayon there on the cleanup crew. There is a bit of a backup going on. Kazuki doing his best to draw some attention back to him. Middle's going to challenge him. He goes for the bomb, but gets absolutely denied there by Poker. He just got that minigun revved up. Gets milked as well, for good measure. But yeah, I mean, they had the right idea on last there, but the rest of the Lucrosa team didn't stay in and try and frag. But Ekelund there, good entry frag from him. Takes down Joe. Uber is popped by Layla. Tomato takes down Cloudy. Crayon gets finished off by Noz. These are the picks that they need, and Feila are going to try and capture this midpoint, but there's a backup going on, Stints, and it's all hectic. It's happening everywhere.
Yeah, I think Cenas just walked in trying to contest this point. Yeah, and he did, actually. Cenas walked in, contested the point, and now there's this backup for Ekelund. Nice work here, so they have the second point.
Yeah.
Yes, so yeah, second point goes down to Lucrosa. Nice backup. Cenas sacrificed himself. And blue team tries to get into last year already. I'm not sure if that's the right call. Yeah, and they're backing off the lobby. But I think we're a little bit in garbage time here, CeeJaey, as I see Hugo using the jetpack for the Pyro.
Maybe he's wanting to go in for launching, just launching in there. Maybe he's trying something new. They do lose 3 players, so they have a new bit of advantage, and they lose their scout on a last push. It's not really ideal, but they are going to go in here. They're looking to go in from River. Big bomb in from KritzKast. He takes most of the Uber. 2 rockets is all he needs to take down Layla, and he survives. They're going to focus the point now. Poker is very weak underneath, but everyone else just gets melted there. Middle, Zamperoni. Middle's on a 7k right now. It was just a meat grinder since, and everyone just got like magnetized towards the point. And Feila was like, okay, we're just going to shoot the point then.
This reminded me of a good old one of Ox Must Die, where like everyone was just like walking through the same choke and getting caught by the traps that you set up. So this is what I mean though, like you get a good Uber, you get the medic right away, you should be able to execute, but everybody gets so excited, it jumps the point, and now because we have Kazuki hiding, he actually gets Layla right away again, and Sterno. So these soldiers are being super sneaky and have really crisp rockets throughout the evening.
Yeah, I mean, I have to say, on both Product and Gullywash, both soldiers have been extremely impressive with their bombs, and I like to see how many frags and how much damage and med picks for sure they've got on this. Layla just spawning now, so about a 50% advantage for Grabber at the moment. With about 3 minutes 45 seconds, I don't think it's going to be possible anymore unless we see some absolute lightning rounds from Lucrosa, but I do think Feila have pretty much sealed the deal here. And taken the full 6 points from this fixture, but Lucrosa probably want to get some. Zamperoni just walks forward with his shotgun, takes down the demo, takes down the medic, and then everyone else just dies. Everyone else just dies around him. Like, you don't see Engineer just kind of sacks very often, but pretty sure Zamperoni was just saying, okay, I'm just gonna try and frag. It's dead time. Why not?
Sometimes you get bored as an engineer on these 5 CP maps because there's no teleporter, there's no hole to set up, so you just walk forward and frag people, and that's exactly what you did. Nobody expects the flanking engineer, but it works.
Nobody expects the flanking engineer. Make that 3 players down for 3 players up. Sorry for Lucrosa. Nate there, and that's collateral takes down Poker. I think that's the first one we've seen today. It's 2 minutes 40. Actually, Layla has 100% Uber. Feila are walking into the lobby now. They could get ready for a last push. Grabber is still dead. He's only just spawning now. Cloudy takes down Nos as well, so no stickies to worry about. This could well be another round for Feila. They could make it 5-1 before the time is up.
Yeah, and I'm sure we're gonna have a lot of red players until the last point here really soon. There's no sticky trap. They should go right now, and there you go. Always Ubering into the riverside. Snapper goes down. Nice focus by Crayon. Grabber goes down right away. Rambosaur, Justice, Hugo all fall. And now the point is gonna be focused. 10 players on the point. 5-1 for Feila.
Yep, and I'd argue that the score doesn't tell the whole story, but I do think maybe it is justified. Feila have been extremely strong here today. Product was a whitewash 3-0. Again, there were close moments, but I just think Feila have just looked a lot more experienced. They've sealed out the rounds which they should have won. Lucrosa have had opportunities, but they just, for want of a better word, they've beefed their pushes, and they've made some mistakes that have been capitalized upon by Feila. So we do see another mid-fight. Again, this is just dead time now. Just over a minute to go. So this is just frags for the logs. Frags for the older spreadsheet that'll be out during the season to see who is getting the most frags week on week. But, I mean, 6 points for Feila. It's their first points of the season. I'm sure they'll be happy to get ready.
And we have Zamperoni taunting on point now after 2-shotting Tomato. Yeah, this is why we like TF2, because this kind of silly stuff happens even in competitive matches. Maybe you guys on KritzKast are not used to it, but you will get used to it. And I'm not even sure if we should comment what's happening on screen. I'm just trying to figure out who memes the best right now. There's a direct hit on Kazuki, which is already really good. And
I do see there is actually time. It's 28 seconds. They could actually just finish this here. Yeah, they do. Yeah. They make it 6-1. I don't know where the Lucrosa players were, but I just saw like a bunch of Feila players on last. 6-1. So 6-1, I think, is a bit maybe a bit harsh.
It's harsh, yeah, I was gonna say.
To hit that win difference just before the time ends. But like I said, I just think Feila looked a lot more composed in finishing out the rounds. When they had an Uber advantage, they made it count. Lucrosa, maybe you need to look back and learn and just think, okay, in that situation we were a bit too far forward, or in this situation we should have just steadied ourselves and gone in for the last push and been aware of everything. But in the end, it is going to be 3-0 on Product, 6-1 on Gullywash for Feila. So they pick up the full 6 points here today. And like I said, first points for them for the season. Lucrosa still remaining on that 4 points. They'll be heading into Steel Week, Week 3. The first. We're going to take a look at the log since. And anyone standing out for you there?
Yes, included middle. Oh my god. 41 frags, 8 assists, 15 deaths. Almost out-damaging his own demo man. He had so much pressure. He was really smart. You know, a lot of soldiers in Highlander and Sixes do get these like 30-40 frag performances occasionally, but they also die a lot because they jump in and they get 1-2 frags and then they die. But Middle always managed to actually get out, get healthy, get some heals from the medic, get the buff, and then jump in again. So he was always a presence on the flank, and when the flank, you know, when he fragged the flank, he was just gonna go with his combo, popping off these cons, and really solid, like not even solid, like really great performance by Middle here on the Gullywash map. Otherwise, there's nothing really standing out. We have Xenos with a big damage, 460 DPM, top damaging. So no, he was maybe the one and only light that was shining here for Lucrosa, because he actually dealt a lot of damage. They just couldn't really quite finish the frags, as they had 45 frags less than Feila.
Yeah, I mean, I think credit has to go to Nos or Xenos for his performance. We did kind of maybe isolate him after that product game as maybe one of the players who underperformed, but he definitely turned up on this one, top damaging. And top fragging for his team, the only person on his team to get 30 frags or more. But definitely middle there, 41 for 15. Jeez, I mean, it's rare to see a soldier not die that much. I mean, it is understandable on a 5 CP map to see kind of lower deaths for a soldier is more fragging based, but to go that score is absolutely insane. I mean, Crayon as well, 30 for 13. So the flank for Feila going 71 kills to 28 deaths between them, which, I mean, if your flank's doing that, it's doing pretty well. I mean, considering Kazuki put in some huge plays as well. He got 6 med picks throughout the game, which was the most of any player in the server, so he was doing his valiant best as well to try and keep his boys in it. But in the end, it just wasn't enough.
But maybe Kazuki, you know, by getting these med picks, kind of wasn't on the flank as much, you know. He was trying to get this big pick, but then his skull body was alone, or his flank was weakened, and then Middle and Crayon just kind of walked forward. That's what happened a lot of times. We had just these two people behind the Lucrosa team, and I'm cleaning up 2, 3, 4 frags, whereas like where the fight was actually gonna happen, Lucrosa should have had the upper hand, but they pulled them back, and like this one mid fight we had, where Lucrosa actually had 6 frags or something, but they didn't cap, because they had the flank of Feila behind them and distract them, and by the time they cleaned them up, Feila had control of the middle point again. So I think this is what stood out on the first map, was that the combo play of Feila was good, and on the second map, the flank was what they carried them through.
Definitely, and it shows you, you know, it's a team that has got many strings to their bow. It's not just not just a couple of carries here and there. A lot of players putting in big performances tonight. So this has been KritzKast. Just witnessed Feila eSports versus Lucrosa. Feila eSports taking both maps, Product 3-0 and Gullywash 6-1. So they are getting points on the board for the first time this season. Thank you for watching. Stinson, have you got any words before we disappear?
Stay safe, kids.
Stay safe. Stay in school.
Stay in school. Don't do drugs.
Don't do drugs, and listen to your teachers and everything like that. But yes, for KritzKast, this is not the end of Highlander. There will be more Highlander tomorrow. We are going to have the lower bracket final of UGC Platinum obviously the European division.
Ooh.
It is TC Frosties versus Gimme Opponent. I do believe Gimme Opponent is kind of a mix team version of Envision. So the winner of that will go and play Feila eSports in the grand final next Monday. Also, just to highlight that we do have a Patreon for KritzKast. It supports all of the people who put time into doing these casts. That's the casters, the production, the people who organize everything in the back end. So if you're interested in helping out KritzKast, do check that out. And we do have the grand finals of UGC on Monday. So if you're not able to tune in tomorrow, at least tune in next Monday, and a possible game on Sunday for ETF2L Premiership. Keep an eye on the KritzKast Twitter for updates and information. But thank you very much for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed this Week 2 game from ETF2L Highlander Premiership. We'll be back soon. Have a good night.